welcome to this episode of the Empowered by UMortgage Podcast. I am joined with one of my favorite people, one of my dear friends, and an amazing, amazing powerhouse of a woman at UMortgage, our Director of Client Experience, Ms. Shari Gade. Hello!
Gosh, I thought you were going to introduce yourself there for a second.
Oh, never. Oh, and we had some technical difficulties getting started today, and it just cracks me up because I told Jake, who is our wonderful producer of this podcast, I'm like, listen, Shari and I could talk for 6 hours straight and never even take a breath. So, if we can't do it today, we'll just do it another time.
Yeah, but I think we got it figured out. So far, so good.
So far, so good.
And you going on too. So like we're kind of complimenting each other today. So.
Which does not even surprise me. And I love your pink. And by the way, you are in your brand new office in Arizona. And I know how hard it is to try and work from home. And you guys have just created this like amazing team, an amazing office environment down there. And I'm loving the pink. Like, I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, it's the She Shack, just so you know. Cotton can come by invitation only. And
I love that so much. And he can make an appointment in advance.
Yes, and he cannot bring Meatball.
No, absolutely not. He and Meatball can stay on that side of town.
So no, it's good. It's great. I'm so happy to like have some space that I can actually shut the door and kind of get in here and get some undistracted work done. That's the hardest part, I think, for a lot of people working at a home, and everybody has a different environment that they feel comfortable working in, and so I think I do a little bit better when I don't have my stuff spread all over my entire house, because you don't get to leave that way.
No, well, and there's not like a definitive like start and stop. And if we don't have that, like we'll just work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And that's not necessarily healthy. But you said something super important earlier. It's like you get into these zones where you're like in this flow state and you're really in it. And it's a special kind of energy and a special kind of like attention that you need. And you've got to be able to control your space so that you can do that, because that's where like the deep working and the deep thinking all happens.
Yeah, that's exactly it, is that deep work mode. And I think that's one of the things with Anthony's been talking a lot about like not having the noise, right? Like focusing in on the activities, focusing in on your priorities, focusing on whatever those components are in your day that's going to move the needle for you to help achieve your goals. And I find that there are so many distractions, and it's so easy to get pulled, right? Like you could get pulled, like, I mean, even like Amazon guy comes to the door and rings the bell. It's like
Meatball freaks out and you're trying to do, a podcast with me, and all of a sudden you've got all this chaos and it just totally takes you off track.
Yeah. So that's one of the reasons why I'm like excited to be able to create a space. And I think that's something everyone needs to have. Like you're in your space right now. You're like, that's your space. And this is where you're able to like get things done. And you don't have to worry about the noise outside, like physical noise, right?
Literally noise. Yeah,
literally noise. And then like also where you can focus, right? Because I think sometimes like with all the different social media platforms, or chat groups, or email blings that come in, whatever,
and phones ringing, and this is going off.
Yeah. So I just found like this is helping create an environment and a space to do that deep work where you can get things done if you just designate and allocate a space of time, and you stay focused and you concentrate on what are my activities that I want to do in this next hour, or this next hour, So it's really
as women, it's like we've got so much going on and we're trying to do 10,000 things at once, and all these things are happening. And if you have control over your environment, like that just helps streamline everything, so you can be really intentional about your day. Like I found so often in my days where it's like I feel like I've just been running around like a crazy person all day and doing all these things, but like, what did I really accomplish? And there's a difference between accomplishing and achieving and just being busy for the sake of being busy, or doing things that are like urgent but not important. And then you tend to put the things that are important but not urgent on the back burner. And those are the things that we really have to focus on, because that's like the long-term thinking and the strategy that goes into being successful.
Yeah, completely. And I know, like, for me, if I don't have a lot of structure to my day and I don't know exactly what I'm doing, like from this time when I get up to this time when I'm like, I have to shift into a mom mode, or I have to shift into wife mode, or I have to like shift into maid mode, right? Like I have laundry I need to throw in the dryer or whatever. Like I have to segregate that time so I don't get pulled off track, because that's the main thing when you have a lot going on in your day. And here's the thing, like the busier and the more successful you get, the busier your day gets, because you're creating momentum and you're having people to now all of a sudden follow up with, and you have people that you have to get like back in touch with to complete things and bring things across the finish line.
Yes.
And so now all of a sudden, like you can start with thinking, oh, these are my basic activities. But when you actually start building and growing and getting traction, now you have this multiplication effect. That's like, now your day is really full. And that's where like the time blocking component is so important to me, where I'm like, if I don't schedule even gaps in there for flexibility, like I'll create space in my day where I'm like, I know like an oh crap moment could happen. And I have to create a buffer in there to create a space that if something shifts, I have a place to plug that shift into.
Totally.
So it's really, self accountability for me too, to stay on track and that's why processes. I love the processes we're creating, at least
totally
UVA and for like our team here at the She Shack, right? Like we've got processes, because I know once they're in place, then I don't have to worry about them. They're going to keep running efficiently.
Yes.
Everything's going to move forward because the process is driving. I'm not
Everybody knows what to do, when to do it. They know what I am the CEO of this part of the overall business. And if you just do that at an extremely high level and everybody does that together, and those expectations are clear and defined and set forth and refined, right? As you make changes and adjustments, like you always watch tape so that, even on a game day where you won or lost, like you always can make little adjustments, but like the overall process is really clear and established.
Yeah, completely. And I think another piece of that is like not wasting time. So when you have a process and you have like an opportunity to even like review the process and make it more efficient.
Yeah.
So like efficiency is all about like not wasting time, right? So like if you have a process in place, the purpose of watching the tape and evaluating it is so that you can make it better, because time is valuable. And like maximizing your day. Finite, valuable, right? Like everybody, especially in this organization, like everybody's time has a dollar sign attached to it, because you're valuable. You're valuable to your borrower, your client. Like coaches charge for their time, right? Like there's something to be said about that. So I just feel like the more that I'm able to create, like optimize my day, optimize time, create processes and systems, nobody has to worry about figuring it out, spending time in the day to create. What am I going to do? You already know what you're going to do. You just follow the process and you trust it. And I think that's a big piece of UVA. It's a big piece of what we're doing.
How the heck do you because I'm experiencing this literally right now. So I'm genuinely asking you, as somebody that I respect and care about, and you know me very well. It's like, I often feel like pulled in many directions. I wear a lot of hats. I want to do everything at a really high level, and I don't know how to say no. And I think a lot of people go through that, but I think women specifically often feel that way because we can do so much and we can multitask, but like, how do you, and I don't even know if it's like, how do you prioritize, but maybe like, how do you figure out the things to say like yes to, and the things to be like, you got to be guarded with that, with your time, because it is such a valuable resource.
Yeah, I think a lot of that goes back to what your goals are and your vision is, right? And so I think for me, I have to go, what am I trying? I'm always asking myself the questions like, what am I trying to accomplish? What am I trying to accomplish personally? What am I trying to accomplish professionally? What am I trying to accomplish for the team? Because obviously that is like professional component it's not all about us. It's about the people as leaders that you're, helping to elevate to get them to reach their goals. And so as long as you know, like everything that you're doing throughout the day is designed to help get you closer to that goal and that finish line, then I think that those become the priorities. And then those things that you have to push back or move, you can, pivot, right? So you have to be able to pivot. But there's what I call like non-negotiables. So when I look at my day, I'm going, these are my non-negotiables that I can't move, that I'm not going to move, that I'm not willing to compromise on, and those stay my priorities. And then the things that are potentially, negotiable, then I look at what is the like value. Does the value in making an adjustment warrant a change, right? And if it's going to help, then I'll make the change. And if it doesn't help me get closer to where I need to be, or it doesn't warrant an adjustment, then you have to say no. Like you have to make opportunity decisions all the time, right?
Well, because every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. Exactly. It's literally, even if you're saying no to doing this, you're saying yes to doing something else. So it's like, it's not a passive thing. And I think that's so that's important.
Key. You just nailed it, Kahren, with what you said. Like every time you say yes to one thing, you're saying no to something else, good or bad, right? Yeah. Good or bad. And
as simple as like, oh, I'm going to say yes to wasting this next 30 minutes on TikTok. I'm saying no to, getting up and maybe getting a workout in, or like, it's when you really think about it in that space, it's like, oh shit. Yeah. I'm always saying yes to something, whether is it like, to your point, is it adding to my objective, adding to my priorities? Is it helping me move the needle and push myself closer to my goals or not?
Right. Yeah. And I think knowing this, as a leader and someone that's like leader in the mortgage industry as an LO, like that's what your whole day is based off of, right? And you have borrowers calling you back, you have follow-up that you need to do, you have people that you're trying to manage. Like there's a lot going on in your day and your day-to-day. And so it's like, really, when you do have that space in your time, are you really using it to optimize where you're trying to go, right? Or are you going to go on, spend an hour on TikTok in the middle of 1 o'clock in the afternoon? Like, you know what I mean? Like you have to, and I'm not going to say that there isn't times where someone needs to know themselves and have enough self-awareness to go, I need to take a break and recharge. So that half hour of, watching Netflix may reboot me for the next 3 days, right? Totally. Like you have to know yourself and know but you create that as part of what your opportunity choices are in your week. To me, that would be like something I go, okay, that's negotiable. Like if I know that at the end of my day that I need to decompress and do something that's going to bring me joy and fulfillment, but I have a major project that I need to bring across the finish line, I may have to push that back and, make a compromise for myself. And maybe it's not, hey, I'm going to spend this time and like watch a show on Netflix. Maybe it means tomorrow morning I go for a walk outside and like recharge in a different way.
Totally.
Opportunity choices for what's going to get you closer to where you need to be.
No, I think that's huge. And I think it's so important to and I love what you said about just giving yourself a little grace too, because I think we're so hard on ourselves. And, again, it's like comparing what we know of the transparency of our real lives and the things that we really go through and we really feel to the highlight reel of social media can be so damaging, and it's like, you really just have to give yourself that grace. And I think that's really important too.
The self-awareness component, which I think women are pretty good at. I think we go and go and go and push ourselves to burnout. And I think sometimes it's really important for women to go you know what? I need me time. Like we don't really hear guys say, oh, I need me time. Like they may need to go golf or go hang out with the guys or whatever. But we don't hear them go I need me time. I think women are really good at going, you know what? I've been pushed to burnout. Now I need me time. And
because you've been taking care of everyone else and you just nailed it. I bet, Mr. Kahren Gade is not putting on the house cleaner hat like you just said earlier. It's like that's something that you take on and you do. And it takes up time. It takes up brain space. It takes up energy. It's like, no offense. Maybe he's out there just vacuuming all the time. I don't know.
No, he does yard work.
There you go. But you're taking care of so many people and so many things and so many obligations. And then when do you take care of you?
Yeah, which is one of the things that I love about your Empower group is you bring this up to attention. So you create a space for the women at UMortgage that are doing multiple things all the time. They're taking care of themselves in the sense of like, hey, I still have to eat healthy. We have like a whole slew of like different stages of life that we go through as women, from having babies to not having babies to like, right? Like
crap that we're going through right now that I am not loving.
Yeah. And so, you have to like take care of your body so you can be strong for your job, so you can be strong for your people. So, and so I think the huge piece for like even women in general is like creating the self-awareness to be able to go, it's okay to not feel guilty to take care of you, like it's okay to not feel guilty. And I think women really struggle with that. That's a big thing that I've noticed, especially when you're like feel the weight of responsibility for yourself and others.
Definitely.
And like, you're like, you know what? I'm not going to feel bad if I need me time for an hour. And
I feel like that's definitely something I'm learning to do better at, like into my, late 40s, more so than I felt comfortable with earlier on. Like, I feel like that's becoming, I don't know if easier or maybe like you said, just like more intentional, or you're paying like more attention to that stuff. But like, it's really, really important. Well, we're going to get a little self-care and a little pampering in Arizona in like 3 short weeks, because we are going to be coming to Arizona to do our Empowered Summit together. And I cannot wait. It's going to be an absolute blast. And it's already freezing and raining here. Like it's literally like in Oregon, the fall light switch just clicked over and we went from summer to fall. It's like freezing and raining. I had a flat tire this morning, so I had to like,
oh no,
pump it up and like get myself to the tire company. And I'm wearing this big like jacket because it's freezing. So I'm walking to the office and I'm like, this is the pits. I cannot wait for Arizona.
Oh, you're going to come here and you're going to get the fireside chat all fired up. It'll be good.
I cannot wait. It's going to be such a blast. Well, I want to talk a little bit about like your journey with UMortgage, because I love the fact that you and Patton just celebrated your year anniversary. It's so weird, Shari. Like, I feel like it's been 10 years and 5 minutes all at the same time, if that makes any sort of sense. But like, you really came on, and like, I want you to share a little bit about your role within the organization, because you're not just like running and helping Patton and his team and UVA. Like, you really have this big voice and influence within the whole company with, being the director of our client experience. And I want to learn about that, because I think it's, first of all, it's awesome that we have a role that is so focused on that, because it's so important. I've never seen another company have that much intentionality around that and the vision and the process. And I'd love for your perspective to share a little bit about your journey and how you're helping us evolve and thrive.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people in the company will see some of the transition that's happened over the last year since Pat and I have been here. And I think some of that is really a testament to like the vision of where we want to go, and taking Anthony's vision, and executing on it. And I think you could talk a lot about where you want to go and not execute. And I keep telling and reminding like everyone on not just UVA, but organizationally, look how far we've come in such a short amount of time, right? Like as a company, which is obviously that momentum started before Patton and I got here, but we just felt so privileged to help continue to move things forward to, become the best mortgage company in America. And I really don't like saying that's something we're striving to be, because I like to just claim and own that right now, because I feel like we already are.
I totally agree.
Yeah, right? Like, I mean, you're here, you're like, yes, this is where I want to be. Like, we are the best mortgage. I don't care what everybody else thinks, right? So I think just continuing to make the adjustments and fine-tune things to bring us further ahead to where we're becoming better, genuinely better every day, and living by that value. And so, we have leaders in place now that come with like a tremendous amount of experience, and experience is everything. And so we've seen things come into place now with operations to transform our whole, like how operations is done. I can't speak enough about like Mike Farah and what he brings to the table.
Totally.
Just
Joel.
Unbelievably brilliant guy. And then Joel is, I think, one of the people that I have so much value and appreciation for, not just because of what he does, but because of who he is.
Totally
like,
agree with you. Absolutely.
He is about people. He is about, hey, I want things to continue to evolve the right way and for the right reasons. And I'm not about compromising things. Like, he's not afraid to be bold and direct and clear, but he's also someone that has a heart. He's not heartless.
Compassionate,
like,
for sure.
Right? He cares. He authentically cares about his people, his team. He authentically cares about our borrowers. Like, but he's willing to do the things, the hard things as a leader that need to be done to get us to where we are proud of everyone around us, right? And I think when everybody starts moving, that's a lot of like the client experience all comes upon everybody in their department or in their role or in their seat, no matter what you are, no matter if you're, working in tech, like Jake's doing his part today for us, right? Like this is impacting the entire organization in a positive way, right? You're doing your piece, like you're bringing awareness to like the powerful women here that are doing exceptional things, like, and you're joining us in community. Community is like part of what we build. We're building a strong community because of your part, and like all of these things that are evolving. Look, ours come in the last year, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And who knew? I had no idea. Like I had this like, I knew what it looked like in the end, right? Like I really, really did. And I'm so grateful to, Anthony and you and everybody who's just like given us this freedom to explore and evolve into this thing that really is living completely outside of, any one person. And there's this sense of camaraderie and trust and like wanting each other genuinely to be like, not just successful and thrive in business, but professionally and personally grow and evolve into like who you are supposed to be on this earth. And I know that sounds just like dramatic or something, but I really believe that. And people that come together and care for when you nail that so much with Mike and Joel. Can I tell you like the funniest freaking story about Joel ever? You're gonna laugh so hard. So this was probably a year, maybe, I don't know when it was. It was like a year and a half ago. I was in the corporate office, and I go into the bathroom at the corporate office, and I look on the counter. So that, you've been there, so you know what I'm talking about. There's gum, and there's, little things, and there's all this like just really great stuff. Like they have taken really like been thoughtful about the bathroom, and right on the counter there is the biggest bucket of tampons you have ever seen in your whole entire life. Literally like 100 tampons. And I took a picture of it, and I walked out into the office, and I was like, who is responsible for stocking the bathroom? And Joel was like, oh, I am. That's me. And I was like, Joel, why are there 100 tampons in the bathroom? And he's like, I have no idea how many you guys need. Like, I just didn't want to ever run out. And it was the most genuine, hilarious, awesome response. And it just totally goes back to say how much people care and how much they're trying to be so like supportive of every person. And and it just totally cracked me up. And I always mention that to him when I see him. I'm like, check the stock in the bathroom, Joel. He's like, I'm on it. We're good.
So is it safe to say that we know that Joel over delivers?
He is not going to come short on absolutely anything. He's like, I don't know. Is that enough? Do you need more? Like 1, 2, 500? I have no. Oh my God, that's my favorite.
Oh goodness. Well, experience is everything. Maybe he was lacking in that department just a little bit.
I just love it so much, but it so goes back to like exactly what you were saying of just the not only the heart and the compassion of every individual in this organization, but just sometimes they have to make the tough decisions and have the hard conversations. They work so hard, but there's always this level of compassion and like true, like we care. We don't just say we want to be the best. Like we genuinely are going to do whatever it takes to be the best and to get there.
Yeah. I think the hard decision making, and why the significance of being able to, continue to have difficult conversations, get better, do the hard things. What I've experienced so far from the leaders in this organization that have to make those types of decisions is it's not about them.
Yeah.
That's the part that I keep realizing, like, why I'm here. And the reoccurring that gets discussed all the time in all our leadership meetings,
Yeah.
and anytime we come together, especially the executive team, is it's not about us. It's about everybody that's here, that's supporting a family that has life-changing opportunities to create legacy, that have opportunities to provide for whether it's charitable causes or things that they're passionate about, whether it's having an opportunity to invest in other areas where maybe they have, want to diversify their life a little bit more. Like this opportunity with this company, especially being, in an LO seat where you have like no cap, and you talk about this all the time, Kahren, like I'm in an position where I have an opportunity where nobody gets to put a cap on me, and you get to soar and you get to thrive and you get to accomplish those things as a go-getter where you're like,
yes,
I'm going to go after it and I know I'm going to get it. Right. And like you're successful in doing those things that you want because you've been given the opportunity, and you get to be here, right, around people that are supportive and encouraging you. That's how I feel like we get to be here. And so
absolutely,
that piece that I know the decisions are made from a very authentic place of the responsibility to our team members and to every employee within UMortgage. Like keeping that mindset to me is what a true leader is about.
Totally.
Leadership is not a selfish position or role. It's about how do I help the people around me to accomplish the things that they're striving to do, right? Totally. And how do we deliver the best resources, tools? Like these guys work day and night trying to find opportunities to get better, to serve everybody here.
Yes.
Right? Like service all the time. They're thinking, how do we make it better so they can be better? That's the whole culture of this company and why Pat and I are here.
I love it. It's so true. And it's so interesting because I've been in the mortgage industry a long time and worked with, a bunch of different organizations. And in other organizations, there's this emphasis on like, oh, we're going to do all these things, these wonderful things that you just described, but it's going to be for like the top, 10, 20% of the organization. And I feel like the difference and the intentionality behind our strategy and our vision within UMortgage is like, hey, we're going to provide these resources, whether it's level up sales coaching, whether it's the daily sales huddles, whether it's like, I know that any person in the organization can get on the phone with the #1 VA loan officer in the entire freaking country who happens to be your husband, and he will give and invest his time in helping them get better. Like, and that happens for 100% of the organization, not just a few people. And I think that's incredible. And I'm so proud of that, because anyone that wants to win and wants to get better and wants an opportunity to change their lives and their families' lives, like they can do it here. They really can. And it really is true. And I'm so proud of that.
Yeah. And the other component to it is getting better every day requires opportunity to see the where and the how to get better. And one of the things that I love about Anthony as our CEO is he welcomes input from everybody and he receives feedback, right? There's some leaders, and especially people that are like in a CEO seat, and it's like, hey, you know what? This is the executive decision. This is the
I know what to do. I don't need your feedback.
And because you know him, like that's not who he is. He is really genuine about like, we're only going to get better because of the people that are around us. And we need everybody's feedback. We need everybody's input. Like it's critical to like our culture and who we are as a company. And I think that piece is what sets us apart from so many other organizations, and being able to apply feedback in the necessary areas and then create action.
Yes.
And like, that's why, like, you know, going back to Joe Sakali being here and having, you know, Mike Farr being here, these are executors. Joel's an executor, right? Like these guys are willing to take the feedback, look at it, make a decision that, like, you know, not all feedback is executable, because some of it just, you know, may not be able to work. It may not be right now, it may be something to come down the pipe later, but you know, at some point we need to be able to have a feedback from our people that are like doing the day to day and go, hey, if this feedback means you need help because this is going to make your job better or easier to do or more efficient, we need to hear that from you and we need to do something about it. Like now, right?
Not just lip service. It's like it's taking action. And I so love that. And I love that it doesn't have to be perfect action. Like we might not have a perfect plan, but I'd rather take imperfect action, but take action than just sit there and talk about it and then never actually implement anything or do anything. It's like, no, we're here. And guess what? We might make a couple mistakes along the way. God knows we have, but we learn from those things and we try them and we go, oh, that didn't work. We're going to go over here and we're going to do this. And we're always re-implementing and we're always analyzing. And to your point from the very beginning of our talk is like, with the vision in mind, like we're so clear about where we want to be that all we have to do is make those little adjustments and those one extra thing every day to get there. But we're crystal clear on where we're going.
Yeah. I mean, I'll take Tempo as an example. Like that tool wasn't designed and developed just to give people busy. We invested in time and energy in developing Tempo because we're like, oh, we just want to give LOs one extra thing to do. No, like the mindset behind it was, there is an opportunity to hone in on how to make your day more optimized and successful because you know the right things to be doing. Not every activity is going to help you. Going back to the start of our conversation, not every activity is going to help you reach that goal.
Move the needle.
Every activity is bad. There can be like a million things you could pick and choose to do out of your day that are good. But out of those, which ones are going to help you achieve the things that you said, Kahren, that you wanted to accomplish? So I'm going to give you a tool and a resource and hold you accountable to it that's going to help you reach that. Why? Because when you do the thing, right, you're going to thank me later. You're going to thank me later. Like you may have to make an adjustment in your day-to-day and how you roll right now, but I promise you will thank me later. And you're
60, 90 days, you're going to see, and you're going to see the outcome for the activities. And it's not hard. It's not complicated. It's very simple. It's not easy, but it's just repeat and then make it better every single day. And all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, now our credit pulls up. Now our locks are up. Oh my gosh, now my funding's up. And it's just awesome.
I wish I had a dashboard for my day to day right now.
Oh my gosh. I think that might be a little overwhelming for most, but I think you are so fantastic. I'm so grateful for our friendship and our partnership and all your awesome contributions to everything we do every day. Like I said, we could talk for hours and hours and hours, and I cannot wait to see you in Arizona. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me, Kahren. I can't wait for you to come out and bring your fire.
Woo, we're doing it. And I might not be laying by the pool in my swimsuit, but I'm definitely going to be getting those sun rays and some extra vitamin D. So I can't wait.
Yeah, it'll be great to see everyone. And the first time of getting everyone all together, right? Outside of a success track, like this is really huge for Empower.
Just having so huge. And it's like, it's not just loan originators. It's loan originators, it's leadership, it's operations, it's processors, it's everyone. And again, that's just, this organization is about empowering everyone. We are going to build some awesome relationships. We are going to do some great professional development, some personal development, get a little exercise together, eat some great meals, and just really, really have a really great summit. So I can't wait to see you. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'll talk to you soon, my friend.
Bye. Thank you.